Did you know that the state of Mississippi is currently the fattest state in the United States, where 1 in 4 people are overweight? Obesity has become second to smoking as a preventable cause of death in America. Today, I will speak to you about the problems with obesity and how we can help to resolve it. If we do nothing about this issue, obesity will continue to affect millions of people everywhere and will probably one day be the #1 cause of preventable death in America. First, I will discuss the problems that obesity causes. Second, I will discuss what has led to the problem. And finally, I will discuss what we can do to solve the problem. Easy access to fast food has caused 1 in 4 Americans to be overweight. Fast food restaurants are everywhere you look. You can find one down the street, a couple blocks away. No matter how far you walk, you will find one. In the documentary, Supersize Me, it was mentioned that in Manhattan alone, there are 85 McDonald's restaurants. So that meant that you couldn't go more than 2 blocks without seeing a McDonald's. The man in the documentary went into an experiment where he, for 30 days, would live off McDonald's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He wanted to see the effects that it would cause on his body and how these fast food places have contributed to the obesity epidemic going on everywhere right now. And it was mentioned as well that lack of exercise has been a big contributor. When President Bush passed the DREAM Act, many schools focused on academics, and while that's good, to encourage kids to do better in their SATs, to learn how to read, all that was good, but what about the physical education? Nowadays, schools require little to no physical education at all, and many schools have turned their gyms into an extra classroom where they do double math hours and double English hours, but what about the exercise and the good eating habits, which was mentioned in the documentary, Supersize Me as well, that exercise and a good diet all contribute to your academics. So yes, you're encouraged to do better in your academics, but what about the exercise part? What about your diet? All this contributes to your academic performance as well, but they are not focusing on that anymore. All they focus on is the academics, if you can read. It doesn't matter if you get exercise or what kind of diet you get. In the workplace as well, many people that work nowadays spend most of their day sitting down in a chair. The only exercise they get is when they get up for lunch or when they get up to go get coffees or something like that, but most of the day they spend sitting down. In the documentary, Killer at Large, it was mentioned that the average American spends about 55% of their day sitting down. And one of the people that was trying to improve it said, why don't you stand? Go, instead of sitting, stand up. You burn more calories by standing up than by sitting down. Okay. Now that I've talked about the problems, I will talk about the causes. Okay, the fast food corporations. Fast food corporations spend millions of dollars a year in their advertisements. You can't go more than a couple seconds without seeing a commercial for soda, for sugary cereal, candies, all these fast food restaurants as well. And most of these are targeting children now, and children are the least protected. They watch everything. They want to imitate everything they watch on TV, so they're constantly watching commercials about fast food where they're going to want it more. And the article Obesity in America was also mentioned that children spend about 51 hours a year watching television, and 95% of that are advertisements for junk food. Children under 8 can't tell the difference between a commercial and a TV show, so everything just kind of blends in for them, and they're just constantly brainwashed into all these fast food places. Okay, these major corporations have been, many people have tried to sue them before, saying that they are to blame for the obesity epidemic, and they say that no, it all comes down to every person. Everyone is responsible for what they eat and what they do, but they would never tell you to eat less and exercise more. Instead, they would tell you, well, you can eat all you want, just go out and burn off the extra calories. Well, yeah, you can do that, but what are the effects that it's going to have on your body? You can still develop type 2 diabetes, have a bigger chance to have heart problems, cancers, and then different types of cancers, and all these little children that have diabetes now, high cholesterol, sleep apnea. Just because you're thin doesn't mean that you are not vulnerable to all these diseases as well. Okay, and then personal responsibility, as I mentioned. Every person overall does have the choice to eat junk food or not. And we can all say no to fast food and choose to maybe eat a salad, but as well, it was mentioned in another article that the most people that are overweight are the least wealthy, because now our society has made it where you can buy the least healthy food for the least amount of money, and all the really healthy food is a lot more expensive. And yes, everything does come down to the individual, so we can all choose to either eat there or not. So I encourage you to stay away from these places. I mean, who wants to have their children end up dying before them because of this obesity epidemic? Okay, and the ways you can solve this is by eating healthy foods instead of going to McDonald's and getting a really large size. Stay at home, make a nice healthy meal, exercise more. Everyone should at least be getting 30 minutes of exercise a day. And well, today I've talked to you about the problems of obesity, the causes that led to the problem, and how we can fix it. If you want to be part of the solution and make sure that young kids don't start dying of obesity before their parents, I encourage you to choose a healthier lifestyle.